Welcome to Business Authority Radio, bringing you insights from today's thought leaders, professionals, and influencers. With your hosts, Neil Howe and Craig Williams.
Welcome to another edition of Business Authority Radio. I'm Craig Williams, and I have founder and leader of Leading Edge Holdings, Wes Bishop, CEO, family man, visionary. He's a lot in all. He's all in one. He's real estate background, has done a lot in the business industry, and right now is doing some exciting things in the place of helping us with our healthcare solutions. Very unique way. Wes, tell me a little bit about how you got into the business, why you do what you do, and where you're going from here.
The insurance business or the company that we're currently working with right now?
Let's talk about both, because it's a unique marriage. I mean,
Okay.
it starts with your history. It starts with your authority in managing assets, in essence.
True.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about that journey and how you came about this merge with another company that we know about.
Okay. So my family has been in the insurance and real estate business since 1949.
Wow.
So I'm the third generation legacy for this, and my boys are the fourth. I've stuck with real estate pretty much most of my life. That's where the financing and all that came in place. I have a bunch of rental houses and things like that. But 2 years ago, I sat down and my father had sold out his insurance company for an undisclosed amount of money, and my brother's company is worth in the hundreds of millions also. So I sat down with my boys and I said, look, I don't want you working for somebody the rest of your life. And I want you to look at this and think about it for a little while before you graduate high school. And if that's what you're going to do, then I'm going to put you in school. I'm going to build the company for you, and then y'all can have it when I'm done.
Truly a servant's heart, and you also are a military background. You have a military background, which is a whole nother story that we're going to probably touch on sooner than later.
Awesome.
Yeah, so your heart is about serving, but also creating an environment for others to serve others.
Definitely agree with that.
Yeah, that's beautiful, man. So go ahead.
So 2 years ago, we got this thing up and running. My boys both graduated high school, came out of high school with insurance licenses, already ready to go. They're in college. They're studying insurance in college. They'll come out with a business insurance degree when they graduate. My oldest graduates come spring, and then he's already working in the industry. The youngest just started freshman year, and you know how that goes for college freshmen. He's got enough on his plate.
Yeah.
Plays football for University of North Texas. So they're busy. So we started growing the company, and it started doing some different things. And a friend of mine, Wes Bishop, came to me and said, you need to look at this deal. And I said, why? He said, well, they just bought my health card, my health benefits card. And he goes, I want you to come and run this show with me. And I go, if Wes looking at it, I'll look at it, because I was out of the industry. And I'm like, let's go look at it. So I sat down with Rob Oblon, and him and I were visiting, and I go, what if I were to put the program together for you guys where you could run your insurance? Everybody that comes in this company runs their insurance through us. And I go, what would that do for you? And he goes, well, explain the business. And most people don't understand the industry. And insurance is a self-pay program it takes a while to build a company up. And I'd already done more than most people could do in 10 years and 2 years to get it where it is today. So I showed Rob the money side of it and where a salesperson could make money, and it looked very prosperous for the company to acquire 40% of my company. Wow. So him and I sat down, and I go, why don't you just acquire a piece of the company and keep a piece of the business? It does great for an acquisition. It does great for quarterly reports, because everything we do is growth.
Yeah.
Not much overhead, because salespeople are working off commissions, and we run those numbers out of the way.
Wow.
And we finally got the deal linked, and here we are. We're up and running.
What's incredible is the company that Robert's a part of is really there to serve an industry of professionals who work for themselves. And one of the biggest challenges I've found as an entrepreneur, and many in the audience have found as an entrepreneur, is that health coverage issue. And that takes a toll on all of us, whether we are employed or unemployable. And to have an asset that owns an insurance company that could provide a lot of those needs, and also with the healthcare card you were talking about that helps supplement those other needs that we have, it brings peace of mind to a person who's interested in working in their area of passion.
Correct.
Yeah.
So the supplemental side and the health side is so difficult in today's day. Even for an insurance company, it's a new day every day you wake up.
Yeah.
And we have a group that writes most of our health insurance outside of here, so we don't focus as much on the health side as we do the property and casualty, because we don't know tomorrow what's going to happen with the health side.
Exactly.
You know? So we have a group that does nothing but focus on that. That's their background. That's their history. And when we get the leads, we take those inside the company and let them do their magic with it and find the right company for that individual.
Wow.
You know, we're trying to find a program that works well inside this company to where the investors and partners all have insurance. And we're working with several insurance companies trying to find a plan that would be a group plan. So if you were here and you had investment inside this company, you could have group health insurance.
Wow.
So that's where we're leaning toward for the health side for just this team.
Yeah. That's awesome. In this day and age, whether it's a storm or a sickness, insurance is very much needed for peace of mind.
Sure it is. I mean, most people don't realize probably 75% of Americans have less than $1,000 in the bank. And you lose a loved one, do they have life insurance? Guess what? 99% of the people do not have that. And therefore, when a loved one dies, how do they bury them? They don't have the cash flow.
Yeah.
So they resort to a lot of things, selling things, borrowing money to get the individual buried, and for less than probably $100 a month, or in some case depends on the age.
Yeah.
It's very cheap to have that put in place for people.
Tell me a little bit about the misconceptions people have about the business that you're in, and when they come to you, they have this idea of this is what you do.
Explain what you
well, as far as
it's a broad business.
Yeah, it's a very broad business, because the moment you say insurance, the first thing that people think about is their particular insurance need.
Okay, I get you.
Yeah.
So, everybody in America has to have insurance. Home, auto, renters, life insurance, health insurance, and it's a necessity, because ultimately at the end of the day, you can't afford the problems that exist when it does. So it's easier to pay up front for the accident that's eventually going to happen. And I mean, it's
accident or sickness or
whatever it is, and people don't realize what it means. Take me, for instance. I was in a wreck June 16th of 2016. A guy pulled out in front of me and had already hit a couple of cars, and I went over the top of it. The guy I hit, no insurance.
Wow.
Luckily, the car I was in had uninsured buyer's insurance.
Yeah.
So non-insured, uninsured buyer. So the person I hit, since he didn't have insurance, my insurance covered that vehicle. Mm-hmm. And my medical and everything else.
Wow.
So people don't realize, I hadn't had accidents in years, and this one just happened.
Yeah. We don't plan accidents.
Nobody
That's
does.
why they're called accidents.
Exactly.
So tell me where you go from here, as far as, you've made this great partnership, and where do you see the business that you're being in, that acquired a portion of your business? I mean, that's a different presentation of what you've been doing, traditional business.
It is, because now there's the lead system, and the people calling for the insurance has taken us to different heights. We're not a big box retail insurance company. We are a independent agent, so we represent hundreds of carriers. We can probably find you better insurance than most people can find with an A-rated carrier or better, and the growth that we'll have outside of this and the customer bases that we use. I mean, anybody that's traveling, maybe they need travel insurance.
Yeah.
But anybody that's buying from us, it usually puts their insurance with us or let us at least quote it to see what we get.
Yeah.
If I can save you money, who's not going to move it? If I can give you a better policy, who wouldn't move it? And if I can help you with your loved ones, who wouldn't get them to move it too?
Most definitely.
And at the end of the day, we're a for-profit company, so we want to make sure that our stock market is and our quarterly reports are moving up with the company. So anything that we build this company to do will help grow the assets and the value of our stock inside sharing services.
Awesome. This is unique. I used to be in the insurance business, also invested in an insurance company years ago. And from my ignorance, I just never wanted to be associated with something where something negative had to happen for something positive to happen. So I ran away from the business of insurance for a number of years, even as looking into being a broker at one time. You before you got your series, you had to have this insurance license.
Correct.
So and what I didn't understand in my naivety and my ignorance, I call it like it is insurance is an asset management tool, and it's interesting how it costs to not more. Of course, it costs more not to have insurance than it does to. In the business world, key man insurance, very important. When you have a visionary to protect that individual who's building this vision that's employing other people, their lifestyle and their families are dependent upon that. And if everything's based upon that individual, and God forbid we lose that person, the business needs to go on.
Correct.
So in that, whether and that goes without saying, whether it's auto insurance, home rental, insurance is peace of mind. It's a peace of mind, and we've run away from that as looking at it like a burden. And I think that's the mindset even our nation has had when we think about healthcare, and we look at it like a burden, and then sometimes we take it on as something that yes, we all need it, but it's going to cost. And if we come together and find solutions like you all have done to come together and figure out how we could create that win-win, not for both parties, both businesses, but those that they're serving, that's when everybody wins.
It is,
yeah.
And it goes back to, had I not had the non-insured motorist in the accident I was telling you about earlier, today I would have ended up having to sue the guy to pay for my medical bills, my vehicle. Luckily, I didn't have to sue the guy, so I'm not going to put him in any harm, which he should be. He should have gone, maybe to jail for not having insurance because it's a law.
Yeah.
And that's what people don't realize. This industry is a dying breed. People aren't jumping in this business. It's not sexy to them, so people don't want to be in it. Average age of insurance age is between 58 and 62.
Wow.
28% will retire or die over the next year. So what does that leave for the millennials? Well, the millennials don't think
they're invincible.
This industry is sexy to them. So, and they have different work habits than we grew up with. They want to work a few months and then take off and go somewhere. They want to work a few months, take off and go somewhere. There's another reason I looked so hard at this company because of the travel side. The travel side allows me to hire these agents, millennials, and give them what they want. They work, they make money, they spend the money. Where they're normally now, they're living at home or they're living with someone and they're saving their money. They can afford to do things. We all were raised to work for retirement so you can go do those things. These guys are doing it backwards than what we did, which may be smarter because they're actually going somewhere today.
Exactly.
And by the time we turn 70, 75, do we really want to go on all those trips?
And are we able to retire like we thought we could?
Exactly.
So I think there's a balance in between where we are, and we're a bridge. I mean, both of us are the same age, and the baby boomers came before us,
right?
And we're like on the edge. We don't really have a name, but we're bridging the gap between all of these generations. And there's a wealth of knowledge that has gone before us, and there's a lot of energy that's coming behind us.
Correct.
And the responsibility for us is to bridge that gap, whether it's health care, whether it is insurance needs, whether it is business and experience, because we've had a lot of nicks and bruises out there as business owners and business developers. with our failures, we learn from our failures, not our successes. We tend to gloat in our successes, but at the same time, there's a great responsibility on us. And you being able to see that, you see the need. I don't know if you always wanted to be in the insurance business after watching your dad.
Just so you know, I steered away from it for 25 years for a reason. That, I've always heard how bad it was. It was horrible business. Don't get in it. It's doom and gloom. And even when I opened up, my father was like, "Are you crazy? What are you doing?" And I go, "I'm putting a future together for my kids and their friends."
Wow. Just like what he was doing.
And he goes, "But do you realize what you're getting into?" He says, "It's a horrible business because all you hear about is the bad."
Yeah.
And I go, "Dad," I said, "the bad does nothing but bring better." And I go, "You have to understand that if I don't do this, what do my kids do the rest of their life? It's something I want to do." I said, "You sold your company for an undisclosed amount of money, right?" And he says, "True." And I said, "Well, my brother's company is worth what?" And he goes, "A big amount of money."
Yeah.
And I go, "Why wouldn't I put my boys in that kind of business?"
Yeah.
And I said, "You know something? We all die. We all have accidents. We all
Get sick.
get sick.
Yeah.
It's life." And I go, that's just part of it. My son's very first policy he wrote a friend of his boat. Okay. And the very next morning I get this call. I said, "Dad, I got a problem." I go, "What's that?" He says, Greg wrecked his boat." And I go, "Was the policy done?" He says, "Yeah." I said, "Why are you worried about it?" And he goes, "Because he wrecked his boat. It's a big deal." I said, "It's not a big deal. He's covered. Quit worrying about it." True, he was rear-ended dragging his boat to the lake, totaled the boat, and he paid probably $7,000 for this boat, and I think they ended up paying him over $20,000 to replace it because it was a nice boat.
It was an asset.
It was an asset.
Yeah.
So they replaced it and funded him more than what the boat actually
What he paid for.
Paid for it.
Yeah.
So you think this guy sent him some business?
Yeah.
Absolutely. He's just like, "Hey, can I get in this business too?" Because he saved that guy. He had no insurance on that boat prior. And the very next day after writing it, it was totaled.
Wow.
Gift.
Yeah. Truly a gift. Tell the audience how we can find you on social media, with the website. What's the best way to reach LEH?
LEHinsurance.com is the easiest way to find us.
LEHinsurance.com.
Yep.
Is there a toll-free number? Or?
Do not have a toll-free number. Just go to LEHinsurance.com. And,
Awesome.
And there's phone numbers on there to reach us.
And they'll be on the show notes as well.
Yes.
Tell me this, Wes. I usually ask people this, and I want to hear it because we're the same age, and I like hearing individuals answer this question. Tell me what you would tell a 20-year younger Wes Bishop.
20-year younger. Don't be so hard-headed. Follow the path that was given to you, or find a path that's best for you and go with it. Give everything you got. I was raised in a way to where my father said there's nothing I couldn't do. And from the time that I was old enough to start doing things, everybody said it was impossible, and I made it work.
Wow.
I built building companies when I'd never built a house a day in my life. And I think I've ended up building over 7,000 homes.
Wow.
So someone told me I couldn't do it. I was too young. I couldn't get the loan. I went through 140 banks before I found somebody to lend me the first money, but I ended up with a $3 million line of credit to start my construction company and built a lot of homes, did a lot of developments, and all because my father said one thing to me in my life: don't ever let anybody tell you no. You can do anything you want.
Wow.
And that's the way I've lived my life. That's the way I've taught my boys. And, I've always been there to make sure my boys, if that's what you want to do, let's do it. They wanted to try for the NFL. They worked hard. They made it to college and ended up an injury, took them out. Or took one of them out. The other one is still pushing to see if he can make it, and dreams come to an end sometimes, but it doesn't mean they got to stop.
Yeah.
You can keep dreaming. The next dream may not have been the NFL. Maybe it's to be a very successful person in the insurance industry. And I know for a fact both the boys will be. I know for a fact that half of their football team's already looking at getting an insurance license. And the growth that we'll have from their knowledge of what they've learned from my past and my deficiencies along the way.
Your humanity,
Yeah, we'll help them grow in life.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing? Don't want to do it.
That was a nice segue right here. Interruption.
Tony Freeman, always.
Yeah, Tony Freeman. Tony Freeman is coming.
Always good to have him in the
Most
office.
Definitely. What's awesome is just listening to you, and you talked about dreaming. And I know as a young kid, I always daydreamed all the time. Yeah. And there was a time where as I got older, it was I could tell a shift in my dreams. There was a moment where I could look, and in a dream, you're just kind of gazing and trying, you're just letting your mind go. Over time, where experience and failure came, you could look back and you could see the other road you could have taken, or the other decision you could have made. And it helps you when you start dreaming later on. You start cultivating more of a vision, And what I've found is, as a visionary, you begin with the end in mind. As a dreamer, you're trying to reach towards something that you're not sure what it is because you haven't had the experience. And listening to, it's like the gift your father gave you of challenging you and saying, no, you don't want to get into that. He knew that he already planted the seed in you that whatever you put your mind to, you're going to do. But any vision is going to come up against some type of resistance to see if you really want it.
Well, anytime your dad says you don't want to be in it, that's a beating in the first place. That's what's funny is he probably never really pushed me to be in it in the first place. And when he told me I couldn't do it, it really kind of got to me. And I'm like, whatever. So, when we inked the paper to come on with sharing services as a public company, he looked at me and goes, how the heck did you pull that off? And I go, same way you did all your life.
That's
persistence, and knowledge, and the love of people. And I said, wow. I have so many friends and so many people that are eager to help me grow that they're willing to let me be a part of what they're already doing.
Wow.
And I go, something that you taught me years ago. Don't tell me I can't do it because I'm going to do it just to prove you wrong.
Yeah.
So that's been my entire life.
And I guess you've probably done the same thing with your sons, directly or indirectly, because it's hard out there being an entrepreneur. It's hard out there to beat a road that you've never been on to find what you think you see on the other side.
Yeah, it is, and when you have boys that pick up the phone and call you and go, hey, I appreciate everything you're doing for us. And they're just 19 and 22.
Wow.
And you're getting some messages across that they've downloaded somewhere of how great of a father you are. Nobody would ever do something for me like this. I can't believe you've given your life up to build a new company just so we would have something in the future. And it actually makes that legacy a lot larger because all the kids that I'm meeting with to try to come in this business, and it's, to me right now, it's about the millennials.
Mm-hmm.
We've served our time, and I hope I can serve them through the years to help them grow this company. But I want them all to have a piece of this pie. My brother's been in the insurance industry most of his life. He's a partner of a very large company, probably worth $300 to $500 million, and he has a very nice piece of that company. If we can teach the millennials to do this business on the insurance side, they also could have something like that. And it's a tough business. The first 2 to 5 years are hard.
Mm-hmm.
The first 2 years are extremely hard because you're starting from nothing.
Yeah.
But as you start to get renewals on your business, it grows every year and almost doubles if you work the same amount every year. By the 5th year, you're a 100K man.
Yeah. And in this business, it's still that belly to belly. It's relational. It's the relationships that you just establish. It's
like the boys. Don't throw away your relationships in football just because you left. So my son is actually out there helping the coaches now do stuff that as a leader he was doing for them when he was on the field.
Yeah.
So he got retired this year and now he's back helping them. But they let him go away to get in his head, to get through it. Because it's difficult. He's been on the football field since he was 5. And to get retired, he just, every dream he had, I'm done. How do I get over this?
Yeah.
And we got him through it, and now he's back over there helping football guys do what he used to do and be the best they can too. So he's learned enough from me, and the young one's coming up the same way. He's all about helping people, and the more people you help, the better you are. And plus, how many of those guys have business ones when they graduate?
Yeah,
they don't have a father around that's helped them get where they want to be. When they come to me, they're no different than my kids to me. I treat them just like they're my own child. Whatever race, color it is, we're all one.
Yeah, humanity.
We got to help everybody we possibly can.
Yeah.
And even the kids that don't have the structure at home, these football kids have a structure. They just don't know how to use it correctly in the business world. My goal is to teach everybody that wants to be a part of this their goals and their dreams.
Wow. I heard it again. You talked about your son, his dream for football. May be behind him in the way he saw it, but there's a new vision now that he has to help those who are there get to where they think they want to go too, because there's still life after football.
There is. And, it's interesting because two of the kids that came to the event this weekend that we had here in Dallas are from the football team. Both have graduated, played 3 years, thinking they're going to the NFL. That's all they know is football, because that's what their folks told them, spend your life focused, and all of a sudden it's over. And they're scared. They don't know what to do because their family they're not those people that taught their kids, or they own their own business. They've worked for somebody their entire life, and they don't want to go back home and do what they did. They want to be something. They want to work hard. One of the kids, he's got some part-time jobs out there. He just bought a brand new Audi the other day, and but he wants to be a business guy. Yeah. So he was here all weekend learning, and his partner was too. And it was cool watching them. Yeah. Because they're spreading it into a group of people that we can grow from, not just in Texas, every state.
Awesome. Wes Bishop, CEO of LEH Insurance Group. Thank you so much for all that you're doing, all that you've done as far as serving our country as well. Thank you so much, sir. And I guess we'll see a lot of you around.
I hope so.
All right. Then.
Hey, thank you.
You've been listening to Business Authority Radio with Neil Howe and Craig Williams. To learn more about the resources mentioned in today's show, or to listen to past episodes, visit businessauthorityradio.com.